Eunice mentions Zen Master Bon Soeng, that gentleman up there, the founding teacher of our school. I saw him many more times than one time, but probably one time was enough. But what struck me putting two pieces together from Eunice's talk, she was talking about the immigrants who came to this country or continually come to this country or any other country and work so hard. And not to give only one reason for the fact that they work so hard, but as my understanding, much of the time it's working so that their children will have something in their life. They come here to either escape poverty or for whatever the reason. For my grandparents, it was really escaping discrimination. My mother's uncle was hung in the town square of the city that they lived in Ukraine. And my grandfather hid in a hay truck, a hay wagon, I suppose it was, in order to get out of Poland because they weren't allowed to leave. So people do a lot of things to get out of bad situations. But often when they come, we're motivated by love. And then I thought of Zen Master Bon Soeng, and he also worked so hard out of love. He worked so hard because he cared. And his particular life experience, he was a very dedicated, very forward-moving man who believed very deeply in his experience. His enlightenment experience shook his world. And he saw a way, he saw a way to understand the suffering of we humans. And he, in many ways, very traditionally, through what he learned and understood from the Zen Buddhism of Korea, but also his own realization and his own experience, he found a way to help people. And out of love and compassion, he worked very hard. He wasn't one of these teachers who grabbed a lot for himself. He didn't have a lot of material wealth, although I'm sure with all the donations that came through in the building of temples, he was taken care of, but he really didn't have a home. He had rooms in different Zen centers, but he didn't have a home. He wasn't the kind of teacher that had a Rolls Royce. When they did finally buy him a car, although they didn't want to ever let him drive, apparently he was one of the worst drivers around. But he got a Ford Granada. And if I was there, if I remember right, it was used. It wasn't a material thing. It was love and devotion. And that's important. That's an important model. His teaching was always not for me. He would say, for me, suffering appears. For all beings, no suffering. I mean, think about it. Most of the suffering we have is because things aren't working out for us. They're not the way we want them to be. We can be sad, we can be empathetic, we can be compassionate for the suffering of others, but that's a different kind of suffering than the suffering of I don't get what I want. I'm not good enough. This self-centeredness is the basis of our suffering. It's very simple. It's not complicated. The practice that we do here is to realize it. But the teaching is very simple. Today I was working with probably 2 people in a row, and I must have said 3 or 4 times to each one of them, easy to say, hard to do. It's easy to know what to do. It's hard to do it. And that's what practice is about. The beauty of Zen Buddhism is not so much the philosophy as the practice. To actually have a way to transform ourselves. Again, thinking from what Eunice was talking about, it's really only very recently that Zen or even other kinds of Buddhism are teaching lay people to meditate. It used to be believed that meditation was for the monks, that lay people wasn't for them. They couldn't really do it, or it would be wasted on them, or maybe they were just selfishly hoarding it for themselves. I don't know. But it strikes me that as lay people, we need it terribly, because our lives are so topsy-turvy. Most monks don't do this anymore, but if you put yourself away in a cave for 15 years, there's not a lot of new stimulus coming at you. But we lay people, especially now, it's like there's so much coming at us at all times, and we're very reactive animals. We react to everything. I like this, I don't like that. I don't know about you, I don't think I'm saying anything too surprising, but I can walk down the street and not like the leaf that fell in front of me. I mean, what difference does it make? But likes and dislikes are popping up all the time. And practice is a way of dealing with that. It's not a way of ending that. It's a way of coming to terms with it. It's a way of finding out how we relate to things. And actually we can change our relationship to things. Because usually it's not the thing that's the problem. The problem is our relationship to the thing. You hear the difference? The thing itself, usually we can't control anyway. But how we relate to the thing is what we have some say over. I think if we're honest, we don't have enough say over it. But that's at least something we can do. So if our partner is pissing us off, we may not be able to stop our partner from doing it. But we can work on how we deal with it. I know for myself, usually when I'm pissed off about something, the best I can do is calm myself. Probably if I'm pissed off, there's something to be pissed off about. But it doesn't do me any good really to get too worked up about it. It actually, probably Zen Master Bon Soeng's way is better. Turn it into love and compassion. And then with devotion, work to change things. Work at it.